The dimensional rift tore through Detroit's 3rd Precinct at 0347 hours. Officer Alex Murphy, RoboCop, had been processing evidence from a drug bust when reality itself fractured. Crimson lightning arced across the evidence room, and the temperature spiked to 140 degrees Fahrenheit in 2.3 seconds. His threat assessment system screamed warnings. Unknown energy signature detected. Atmospheric composition, sulfur, 47%. Unknown compounds, 53%. Radiation levels, critical. Recommendation, immediate evacuation. RoboCop didn't evacuate. He advanced toward the anomaly, Auto 9 drawn, targeting systems cycling through threat matrices that had no classification for what emerged. A demon. Not metaphorical, not hallucination. His optical sensors registered a bipedal entity, 7'2", approximately 340 pounds, armed with organic blade appendages and emitting heat signatures consistent with internal combustion. The creature's flesh was exposed muscle and bone, its eyes burning with what his systems could only classify as hostile intent maximum. You have 10 seconds to comply with the demon lunged. RoboCop's response time, 0.04 seconds. 3 rounds from the Auto 9 center mass. The creature staggered but didn't fall. His ballistic analysis updated in real time. Ballistic ammunition 34% effective against unknown biological armor. He adjusted. Headshots, 5 rounds. The demon's skull exploded in a spray of ichor that his sensors registered as 890 degrees Fahrenheit. Threat neutralized. But the rift was widening. Through the tear in space, he saw a nightmare landscape. Burning towers, rivers of molten rock, structures built from what his pattern recognition identified as human skeletal remains. And movement. Hundreds of heat signatures. Thousands. An army. The rift pulled. His 400-pound cyborg frame, designed to be immovable, slid across the floor. He mag-locked his feet, servos straining. The gravitational force exceeded 3.2 Gs. His structural integrity warnings flashed amber, then red. Catastrophic system failure imminent. Magnetic lock failure in 8 seconds. RoboCop calculated trajectories, force vectors, probability matrices. Every scenario ended the same way. The rift would drag him through, or it would destabilize and potentially consume the entire precinct. Officer Reed and Lewis were 2 floors above, 127 civilians within the blast radius. His prime directives crystallized with perfect clarity. Serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. He released the maglocks. The rift swallowed him whole. RoboCop materialized 30 feet above a platform of obsidian and brass, crashed through it, and landed in a crater of his own making. His impact resistance absorbed most of the kinetic energy, but his internal diagnostics lit up like a Christmas tree. Systems check. Right knee actuator, 73% function. Optical targeting, functional. Auto 9, functional. Ammunition, 43 rounds remaining. Power reserves, 67%. GPS, no signal. Radio, no signal. Satellite uplink, no signal. He was alone, in hell. His audio sensors picked up screaming, human screaming. His threat detection systems registered 23 hostiles converging on his position. RoboCop stood, dust and debris falling from his armored chassis, and assessed the tactical situation. Demons poured from every direction. Imps hurling fireballs, soldiers with plasma rifles mounted on their arms, Hell Knights charging with claws extended. His targeting computer painted them all red. "You are in violation of..." A fireball exploded against his chest plate. His armor held, but the heat reading was catastrophic. Numerous statutes, including assault on a peace officer. He opened fire. The Auto 9 barked a 3-round burst. Headshot, 1 imp down. Pivot left, 2-round burst. Hell Knight staggered. Roll right, avoid plasma fire, come up shooting. His ammunition counter dropped rapidly. 40 rounds, 37, 34, 31. They kept coming. RoboCop's tactical database had nothing on these creatures. No weak points, no behavioral patterns, no protocols. He was writing the manual in real time, each kill adding data to his threat assessment matrix. Observation: headshots 89% lethal. Observation: plasma weapons effective against armor. Observation: melee combat inadvisable. Claws exceed structural tolerance. A Hell Knight closed the gap. RoboCop couldn't dodge. His damaged knee actuator limited mobility to 73%. The demon's claws raked across his chest, screeching against titanium alloy plating. His armor held, barely, but the impact sensors registered damage to his internal gyroscope. He jammed the Auto 9 under the creature's jaw and fired once, twice, 3 times. It fell. He was down to 18 rounds, still 14 hostiles active. The math was simple and damning. Then he saw it, a fallen demon soldier, its plasma rifle still attached to its scorched arm. RoboCop's behavioral inhibitors had clear guidelines about non-OCP equipment, but Directive 3 was unambiguous: uphold the law. In this jurisdiction, survival was the law. He tore the weapon free. His targeting systems interfaced with the alien technology, analyzing, adapting, integrating. The weapon powered up in his grip, humming with barely contained energy. The remaining demons charged. RoboCop opened fire. With both weapons, the plasma rifle cut through demonic flesh like a cutting torch through butter. His Auto 9 provided precision shots while the plasma weapon handled crowd control. His tactical software optimized firing patterns, ammunition conservation, threat prioritization. 90 seconds later, 23 demons lay dead. His ammo counter read: Auto 9, 4 rounds remaining. Plasma rifle, unknown. RoboCop stood in the center of a killing field, smoke rising from his weapons and his armor, and accessed his primary mission protocols. Without GPS, without communication, without support, he fell back on core programming. Serve the public trust. Somewhere in this hell, there were humans. He heard them screaming. And where there were humans in danger, there was a peace officer's jurisdiction. He began walking toward the screams.
For 6 hours and 43 minutes, RoboCop moved through Hell's architecture. His power reserves dropped to 41%. His plasma rifle died after the 4th major engagement. His Auto 9 was down to his last magazine, 9 rounds. His right knee actuator had degraded to 58% function, creating a noticeable limp in his gait. But his mission parameters remained clear. He'd found evidence of human presence, blood trails, discarded UAC equipment, even a data log that his systems partially decrypted. The Doom Eternal era, his contextual analysis suggested. The demons had invaded Earth. The UAC had opened portals. Humanity was losing. And there was someone else here, someone the demons feared. RoboCop first noticed it during his 7th engagement, a pack of imps that suddenly fled, not from him, but from something else. His audio sensors detected heavy footfalls, armor clanking, and then a sound his database could only classify as chainsaw, industrial grade. The Doomslayer appeared like a force of nature. RoboCop's threat assessment systems went haywire. The figure registered as human, mostly, but the readings were impossible. Speed exceeding Olympic records. Strength tearing demons apart with bare hands. Aggression index beyond measurement scale. The armor was unidentifiable, marked with scratches and gore from countless battles. And he was heading straight for RoboCop. Halt! Identify yourself. RoboCop raised his Auto 9, though his tactical computer gave him a 0.003% chance of survival if this became hostile. The Slayer didn't halt. He didn't speak. He simply stared through his visor, assessing. For 3 seconds, 2 warriors stood facing each other in Hell's wasteland. One built by corporate interests to serve the public trust. One forged by rage and vengeance to kill demons. Both incorruptible. Both relentless. Both beyond human limitations. The Slayer grunted, a sound that RoboCop's contextual analysis interpreted as approval, and walked past him, heading toward a distant structure that RoboCop's geographical analysis identified as a probable stronghold. RoboCop calculated his options. His ammunition was nearly depleted. His power reserves were critical. His knee actuator would fail completely within 4.7 hours. Alone, his probability of mission success 0.12%. But following this entity, this Doomslayer, that changed the probability matrix significantly. Wait, RoboCop limped forward, holstering his Auto 9. The Slayer glanced back. In his eyes, RoboCop's emotional recognition software detected something unexpected: respect. The Slayer tossed him a weapon, a heavy assault rifle, UAC standard issue, modified with enhanced ammunition capacity. RoboCop caught it one-handed, his targeting systems interfacing immediately. Weapon accepted. Ammunition 360 rounds. Compatibility 96%. The Slayer nodded once, then continued walking.
They moved through Hell's stronghold like a mechanized apocalypse. The Slayer led, tearing through demons with a savagery that RoboCop's behavioral analysis couldn't fully quantify. It wasn't mindless violence. It was surgical, efficient, almost artistic in its brutality. Every movement served a purpose. Every kill was optimal. RoboCop provided overwatch and tactical support. His targeting systems tracked threats the Slayer hadn't seen yet. His predictive algorithms identified ambush points. His perfect timing meant covering fire arrived exactly when needed. They didn't communicate verbally. They didn't need to. When RoboCop's ammunition ran low, the Slayer would glory kill a demon near an ammo cache. When the Slayer pushed too far forward, RoboCop's suppressing fire would thin the horde. They developed a rhythm, silicon and fury, law and rage, working in perfect synchronization. They found the human survivors in the lower levels.
47 UAC personnel, trapped, running out of air and hope. The demons had been keeping them alive for some purpose RoboCop's analysis deemed ritualistic sacrifice, 87% probability. Detroit Police, RoboCop's voice echoed through the chamber. You are now under protective custody. One researcher, Dr. Sarah Chen, according to her ID badge, stared at him with exhausted disbelief.
You're a cop? From Earth?
Affirmative. Officer Alex Murphy. Do any of you require medical attention? The Slayer was already moving, setting charges on the walls, marking an extraction route with brutal efficiency.
There's too many of them. We can't fight our way out. We've been trapped here for 3 weeks. They're endless.
RoboCop's tactical computer ran the numbers. The route to the nearest stable portal, 2.3 kilometers. Estimated demon presence, 800 to 1,200 hostiles. Ammunition available, insufficient. Power reserves, 23%. Probability of all survivors reaching safety, 4%. His prime directives were absolute. Protect the innocent. We're leaving, RoboCop stated. Stay close. Follow instructions. You will survive. The Slayer looked at him, and in that moment, RoboCop understood something his programming hadn't accounted for. Sometimes the law isn't about probability or logic. Sometimes it's about standing between monsters and innocence, regardless of the odds. Sometimes you fight because it's right. The Slayer nodded.
The fighting retreat lasted 97 minutes. RoboCop calculated that he engaged 347 individual demons during that period, his highest combat density on record. His systems operated beyond their design specifications. His damaged knee actuator was grinding bone against metal. His power reserves hit 8%, then 5%, then 2%. But the civilians stayed safe. The Slayer carved a path of absolute destruction, his weapons singing hymns of violence. RoboCop held the rear, his heavy assault rifle burning through ammunition, every shot placed with mechanical perfection. When an imp got too close to Dr. Chen, RoboCop took 3 plasma bolts to his chest plating and still made the kill shot. When a Hell Knight broke through their perimeter, he physically blocked it with his body while the Slayer tore it apart. His power reserves hit 1%. They reached the portal, an unstable rift created by Argent energy, leading back to Earth. The Slayer ushered the survivors through, each one disappearing into the shimmering gateway. Dr. Chen paused at the threshold. "Both of you, come with us. You can't stay here." The Slayer didn't respond. RoboCop calculated his remaining power. 0.4%. Enough to walk through the portal, maybe. Or enough to hold the position while the last civilians escaped. His directives had never been clearer. "Negative. I must ensure your safe passage." "Dr. Chen, go. That's an order." She went. The portal began destabilizing. The Slayer was still fighting, buying seconds, buying lives. RoboCop's targeting system failed. His right leg locked up completely. His visual processors flickered. Critical power failure. Shutdown imminent. Directive 1. Serve the public trust. Complete. Directive 2. Protect the innocent. Complete. Directive 3. Uphold the law. Complete. Through failing optics, he saw the Slayer grab him, this entity of pure violence showing an act of pure heroism, and hurl all 400 pounds of RoboCop toward the closing portal. RoboCop tumbled through reality itself, His last operational visual showed the Doomslayer standing alone against Hell's army, turning back to do what he did best. Then darkness.
Sharp's systems rebooted in OCP's advanced repair facility. Engineers had worked for 72 hours to restore his power core and repair the catastrophic damage. His memory banks were intact. His mission logs were complete. Sergeant Reed stood by his repair cradle. Murphy, the survivors confirmed everything. You held off hell itself to save them. The footage from your body cam? Jesus, Murphy, you went beyond anything we thought possible. RoboCop sat up, servos whining, fresh actuators responding perfectly. Status of Doomslayer unknown. The portal collapsed. But Reed pulled up footage on a tablet. 3 days after you came back, the demon invasion just stopped. Portals closed. Like someone shut down hell itself from the inside. RoboCop processed this information. Somewhere in dimensions beyond understanding, that warrior was still fighting, still serving his own brutal directive. Officer Murphy, OCP wants to debrief you about the weapons technology you encountered. The data you brought back could... Sergeant Reed. RoboCop stood, his repairs complete, his systems optimal. There's a report to file. 47 civilians saved, tactical data on hostile entities, and a recommendation. What recommendation? RoboCop looked at the Detroit skyline through the facility windows. His city, his jurisdiction, his mission. If the portals ever open again, deploy immediately. The demons are beyond conventional law enforcement capabilities, but they can be stopped. They can be served justice. Murphy, you barely survived. I didn't serve alone. RoboCop's optical sensors flickered, the closest he could come to a human expression. And if required, I will return, serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. Even in hell? Especially in hell. Tactical report, classified. Officer Alex Murphy, RoboCop. Mission, extra-dimensional hostiles. Result, 47 civilians rescued, 0 casualties. Ammunition expended, 2,847 rounds. Demons neutralized, 347 plus. Structural damage, extensive. Mission status, success.